Hi, this is Marilyn from MarilynDesign.com and welcome to my tutorial to move a live website from one hosting to another hosting. In my case, I've got a test site for my client right here that I want to move to his own domain right here. As you can see, currently it says awaiting content, and once I've moved it over, I'm going to make this an under construction page. So what you need for this tutorial is, from your own hosting, you need your cPanel login details, your FTP details, and from your client's hosting you need the same. Okay, what I'm going to start with, I'm going to move my files from my hosting to my desktop. So I'm going to right click in here and I'm going to create a directory and click OK. Now I'm going to open that directory up and I'm going to copy everything apart from htaccess and wp-config. So I'm going to drag it in here and that should be moving. It'll take a little while. So in the meantime, I'm going to go to my own hosting here. I'm going to log in to my cPanel and I'm going to export the WordPress database. So how do I do that? I go to PHP My Admin. I click on the database that I need and I click export and go. This is going to save it on my computer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my client's hosting and I'm going to log in to their control panel, and now I'm going to have to create a database, create a user for that database and link this user to the database. So I'm going to go to MySQL databases. I'm going to click here to create a database and click create. I'm going to go back and I'm going to create a user. And I'm going to use the password generator. So I'm going to copy and say I've copied this password. I'm going to put this password in a notepad because I'll need it later and say use password. I'm also going to copy the username, put that in the same notepad, and I'm going to copy the database name, which is just here. Now the reason that I'm copying all of this is because I will need that to put it in the wp-config file that we're going to create later, so that WordPress knows that this database and this user are linked to your website. So now I'm going to create the user, go back, and to link the user to the database, I'm going to go here, add user to database. It's already got the correct user here and the correct database, and I'm going to click add. Now I'm going to click all privileges and make changes. Let's see what's going on here. It's still transferring, so I'm now going to create the wp-config file. So I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to open up the wp-config sample. Mine is going to open up in Dreamweaver. If you don't have Dreamweaver, that's absolutely fine. You can open it up in Notepad or in Word as well. As you can see, WordPress is asking for the database name, the username and the password. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these in there. So this is the database name, username. Make sure that there's no spaces. I've obviously accidentally got a space in there, so I'm going to delete that space. And then lastly, I'm copying the password. Then I'm going to go save as and into the same folder, which is the folder I've just created on my desktop. And I'm going to take away sample and dash to make it wp-config.php, and I'm going to save it. As you can see, FileZilla is still transferring all the files to my desktop, so I'm going to wait until that's finished and then I'll come back to you in a minute. So FileZilla has finished transferring all the files to my desktop. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change tabs and go to my client's FTP. As you can see, there's a holding page in here, so I'm going to press delete and delete that holding page. And I'm going to go to my desktop. These are all the files that I transferred over earlier. I can go ahead and transfer everything over, so I'm going to drag that in here and I'm going to wait until that is finished. In the meantime, I can go to my client's hosting and import the database that I exported earlier. I'm going to click home, and from there I'm going to go to PHP My Admin. Here's the database that I created earlier, which is completely empty. So I'm going to click import and I'm going to find a file that I exported earlier, which is just there. So I'm going to double click, scroll down and click go. That's all imported, and I'm going to now click on WP options and show you that the database is still linked to the test site. So to change this, I'm going to click edit on the first line where it says site URL, and I'm going to go to the website where I want it to go, and I'm going to copy the URL, and then I'm going to paste it in here and click go. Now there is another one that we need to change, another value, which is on page number 2, and this is home right there. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to paste the new URL in there and click go. Now this still won't be ready because FileZilla is still transferring all the files, so I'm going to again wait until all the files have been transferred, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Right, so everything has transferred from my desktop to my client's website, so I'm going to test to see if that's working now. So I'm going to refresh this page, and there you go, everything's here and transferred successfully. Now none of these pages will work. You see that you've got a not found. This is because we didn't transfer the HT access. So to create an HT access, I'm going to go to my dashboard. I'm going to type WP admin. I'm going to use the same login details that I used on my test site because it's remembered everything from the database. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. From my dashboard, I'm going to go to settings and permalinks, and in there, to create an HT access, we need to change the permalink settings and change it back. So I'm going to click save changes, and in my case, because I use WP e-commerce, I have to click save changes twice. Then I'm going to change it back to what I had and click save changes. In my case, do it twice, and that should have created the HT access. So to check this, I'm going to go to my FileZilla. Here you go, there's no HT access here, so I'm going to refresh it and it should pop up there. So now if I go back to the website, I'm going to check if the other pages are working. And there you go, it's all working. This is the end of the tutorial, and I hope it's proven useful to you.